All right. Let's see. Give me a second. Okay, Sincere, you did not send an invite request. You're now getting muted. Okay. Okay, so repeat your accusation, says Ben.
Which one?
The last one that I read. You said there's actually more proof for the existence of Santa Claus.
Actually, Santa Claus was named after a man called Saint Nicholas.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Listen, I can tell right off the bat that you're dumb. Okay. Now, when we talk about Santa Claus in general parlance, we're talking about the depiction of a jolly man in a red suit riding on a sleigh with reindeer, delivering presents to children all over the world. Okay. Is that what you're referring to as Santa Claus?
Well, actually, that's a newer version of it.
No. Okay. How old are you?
64.
Okay, well, we're the same age, okay? Now, what you just said is colossally stupid. So what you're talking about is the etymological source or the historical source of a human being called Saint Nicholas. But Santa Claus, in the modern usage, unless it's qualified, will always refer to the fictional character of somebody who lives at the North Pole, okay? So when you said, listen, do not interrupt me. That's the quickest way to get blocked. Now, when you invoke the word Santa Claus without qualification, were you referring to the fictional character that lives at the North Pole, or were you referring to the historical origin of the fictional character?
The historical origin.
Okay, so you blundered there because you did not invoke qualification, because 99% of the time and more, when people use the word Santa Claus in the English-speaking world, we're referring to, with rare exception, the fictional character at the North Pole. Okay?
Well,
now, are you an atheist?
Yes.
Okay. So, is your God denialism rational?
I believe so.
Good. What is the rational justification that there is no God?
Well, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
Okay. Is that a sustainable claim?
I believe so, yes.
Good. Now, before you answer that question, does it logically and necessarily follow from the claim there's no evidence, therefore no God?
I don't get what you're saying.
I'll repeat the question. Does it logically and necessarily follow from the claim that there's no evidence for God, therefore God does not in fact exist?
Yeah, I mean...
okay, wrong. Okay, wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Now, it does not logically and necessarily follow, because when you say that there's no evidence for God, what you're invoking is a state of ignorance, that you are unaware that anything in the world that presents itself to you necessarily indicates God. Or do you mean that the world as it presents itself to you, demonstrates complete and utter God independence? Which do you mean?
I'm not quite following what you're...
When you say there's no evidence for God, do you mean that you are in a state of ignorance of anything indicating God? Or do you mean when you say there's no evidence for God that the world is evidence of utter independence from God?
I would say it's independence. It's because God does not...
Good, excellent. Now we're making progress. Is that a sustainable claim that the world as it presents itself to you necessarily, with logical necessity, exists with independence from God? Is that something that you can sustain?
Well,
yes or no? Can you sustain that the world can be defended to be God independent?
Yes, I totally
Good.
believe.
Okay, excellent. Good. Can you show me how any state of affairs necessarily exists with God independence without an appeal to ignorance fallacy? How did you determine that any state of affairs exists with complete and utter independence from a creator?
Well, like I say, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
What you're doing is you're repeating the same claim, which I asked you to defend. Repeating the same claim is not defending the claim. Now, you said the statement that there's no evidence for God means that the world exists as being independent from God. Please tell me how you know that.
Through study, through history.
That's a generalization. That is not an informative answer. How did you determine that any state of affairs exists with independence from a creator God?
Through education.
That is a non-informative answer. That's the second time you gave me a completely non-informative answer. How did you determine that anything exists with independence from God?
No, sir.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
I want you to explain to me how you determine
Go
that
Medina
anything
man.
or everything exists with independence from God.
Well, like I say, there's absolutely no evidence of a God.
Okay, do you understand you're repeating the same claim that I'm asking you to defend?
That's okay. There's no time.
Do you realize what you're doing? Okay, so there we have, here I demonstrated conclusively, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that skeptic was utterly irrational. He could not defend his atheist cliche that there's no evidence for God. So what did he do? Like the girly man that most skeptics are, he ran away in order to avoid further embarrassment of the irrationality of his God denialism.
I mean, he represented, he was representing what most atheists have. That's all they have, Dar. That's all they have.
He was the quintessential representation of an atheist, and he failed colossally.
Yeah, atheist talking points. That's all he had. Atheist talking points.
Yeah, I mean, this was a devastating expose.